badge is clipped to your lanyard. The SCIF door beeps once, and the magnetic strike releases. It is 11:47 p.m. The corridor is empty. You are running a query in XKEYSCORE that you were not authorized to run. You graduated from the SIGINT development course 6 months ago. Your TS/SCI clearance was adjudicated 8 weeks ago. The polygraph examiner asked you 12 questions across 2 hours, and you passed everyone. You signed the SF 312 non-disclosure agreement under fluorescent light in a windowless room, and they handed you the badge and the lanyard and said welcome. The query returns. One name. One match. A photograph from a passport database. 2 intercepted phone numbers. 3 known email addresses. A flight from Dubai to Los Angeles on a Tuesday in February. You photographed the screen with a personal phone you brought into the SCIF in violation of 3 different security policies. The phone goes back into the locker by the entrance. You walk out under the badge swipe at 11:53 p.m. The system logs the entry. The system logs the exit. The query is logged under a tasking packet that was approved by your supervisor for an unrelated target. Mark Ray is asked at a bar 3 nights ago. College acquaintance. Junior year, not close. He works in private security consulting now. He asked you casually, like he was asking what time the kitchen closed, if you could just see if there was anything in the system about a name. Said he would owe you a drink. You laughed. He laughed. He paid the tab. The envelope is left under your windshield wiper the next morning. $600 in 20s. There is no note. You tell yourself it was a favor. The query was small, the data was returned, the name was not American. Mark is not a foreign service. He is, you remind yourself, a guy from college. The badge is on your desk the next morning, clipped to the same lanyard in the same position. Power gained, institutional access, XKEYSCORE, PRISM adjacent metadata, every database the agency runs. Freedom lost, the ability to say you have never crossed. 3 weeks later, Mark sends a list of 5 names, $1,500 per name. You meet at a different bar this time, 2 boroughs away from the first. He hands you a folded sheet of paper. You memorize the names in the bathroom and flush the paper down the toilet. You learn to bury the queries inside legitimate tasking. The agency's own audit framework is built around analyst behavior. Anomalous query patterns, off-hours access, tasking packets with no documented downstream product. You read the audit framework the way you would have read it as a target. You understand what flags. You understand what does not. You write your first SIGINT report under your assigned pseudonym, Atlas Northern 7. A buyer you will never meet receives a 4-paragraph product memo through 3 cutouts. The product is correct. The product would have been correct under official tasking. The only difference is that nothing about the buyer ever enters an agency database. Mark's payment terms move to crypto. Monero, non-KYC exchange. The wallet rotates monthly. The payment now lands in a hardware wallet you bought with cash from a reseller in a different state under an LLC owned by a Wyoming series trust filed under your mother's maiden name. You take the agency's quarterly counterintelligence refresher in August. The instructor walks the section through 6 recent insider threat cases. 2 ended in federal prosecution. 3 ended in administrative termination and clearance revocation. 1 ended with the analyst found dead in a hotel room in Vienna. The instructor says the only thing all 6 cases had in common was that the analyst believed the system would not detect them. You take notes. You ask 1 question for the record so the instructor remembers you were engaged. The badge is clipped to your lanyard the entire session. Your supervisor compliments your weekly metrics report, says your tasking to product ratio is the best in the section. Asks if you would be interested in the senior analyst track when promotions open in the spring. You smile. You say yes. Power gained, tradecraft. You can make a query disappear inside legitimate workflow. Freedom lost. The ability to file an honest weekly metrics report. The promotion comes through in March. GG13. Independent Tasking Authority. You can now pull specific intel reports without supervisor sign-off. Your queries no longer need to be hidden inside someone else's tasking packet. You write your own. The buyer pool diversifies. Mark Reyes is now one of 7. 2 of the 7 are corporate intelligence shops. 2 are cutouts you suspect route to foreign services. You do not ask which. The fee structure stabilizes at $20,000 per request, payable in Monero, settled within 72 hours. David Kim is the senior analyst on your floor, hired the year before you, the only person at the agency who has met your sister, the only person who knows your mother's first name. He brings you coffee on Tuesdays. He says you are the best analyst he has ever worked with. He says he's going to recommend you for the section lead opening when his promotion comes through. He means it. He has no idea. You attend the agency's annual ethics refresher in October. The instructor, a counterintelligence officer with 26 years in the field, runs through case studies of analysts who crossed. Reality winner, Edward Snowden. A junior analyst at a partner agency you do not name. The instructor says, every one of them thought they were operating below the threshold the system would notice. Every one of them was wrong. You take notes the way you would have taken notes at 22. Your handwriting is the same. The badge is on your desk. The lanyard is in the drawer because it kept getting tangled in the keyboard. Total income from the network this year, $390,000. None of it touches a U.S. bank account in your name. None of it touches the bank account of any person whose surname matches yours. Power gained. Independent tasking. Your queries no longer need a host. Freedom lost. The ability to refuse a buyer who already has your name. David Kim's promotion to division comes through in November. You are promoted into David Kim's old role. He moves up to division. He hands you the section the way he was handed it. Coffee on Tuesdays, an envelope of unfinished tasking packets, and a key to the drawer with the section's classified reading copy of the standing operations memo. The job is no longer about running queries. The job is about directing analysts who run queries. You have 11 of them. You are responsible for their tradecraft, their training, their tasking integrity, and their polygraph readiness. You direct them to run lookups under tasking packets you sign. The lookups are for names you cannot personally query without triggering pattern flags. The analysts do not ask. They have no reason to. The tasking packets cite legitimate intelligence requirements. The legitimate requirements are real. The lookups produce both legitimate product and personal product. Only one is reported up the chain. Prism access opens at this level. Muscular. The cloud side lift from every major U.S. tech company. You read your first Prism extract on a Wednesday afternoon, and you spend the next 12 minutes sitting at your desk without moving. The badge has scratches now. The chip is intact. The photo is still you. The first paranoia trigger lands in February. A random audit pulls 11 of your tasking packets for review. You know exactly which 2 are wrong. You sit at your desk for 26 minutes after the audit notice arrives, calculating which mistake you made would be caught first if the auditor was good. You begin running adversarial reviews against your own tradecraft. The same kind of red team analysis you would run against a foreign collection target. You find 4 issues. You correct them across 9 days using procedural amendments that look like routine quality control. The audit returns clean. Your supervisor congratulates you on the cleanest section result in 3 years. You begin noticing things that did not used to register. The same dark sedan parked 1 row over from your car on 3 separate Wednesdays. The way the security guard at the south entrance now greets you by name, when last year he never greeted anyone. The cleaning crew on your floor changed in November, and the new supervisor watches the elevator panel for longer than the elevator takes to arrive.
You change your route home twice a week. You begin paying for everything in cash that you can pay for in cash. You scan the visitor log every morning before you open your email. Power gained. Deniability. The queries are no longer attributable to you. Freedom lost. The certainty that the audit framework is the threat you should be
worried about. The promotion to branch chief comes through 9 months later. GG 15. Strategic tier access. You sit in the daily SIGINT briefing with the office director and the deputy director's chief of staff. You see the full collection envelope. You see the targets. You see the gaps. You see what the agency cannot collect. The buyers want what the agency cannot collect. The buyers will pay extraordinary sums for the gaps. You have been operating for 4 years. The total income from the network crosses $1.1 million in late spring. You are 41 years old. Your apartment has not changed. Your car has not changed. You live exactly the way you lived when you were a GG11, because spending the money the network has paid you would create the only signal you cannot survive. The polygraph cycle is in 8 weeks. You begin running counter-poly preparation. The agency's own counterintelligence handbook lists 6 countermeasures in lists for each one. The specific physiological signature that defeats it. You can identify all 6. You build a 7th. You practice the 7th in 14-minute increments at home, on a chair, in front of a mirror. Breathing patterns synchronized to a metronome you have set to a frequency the polygraph software does not flag. Halfway through the 3rd practice session, you recognize with something close to vertigo that you are now running the same operational cycle you used to teach to junior analysts. Identify the threat. Identify the framework the threat operates under. Identify the seam in the framework. Exploit the seam without leaving signature. You taught the cycle as basic counterintelligence awareness. You taught it as something to apply to the targets of investigations, not to themselves. The badge is at your home in a small fireproof safe in the back of the bedroom closet. It has not been on a lanyard in 19 months. Power gained, strategic visibility. You know what the agency cannot see. Freedom lost, the ability to take a polygraph without preparation. You pass the polygraph in week 9. Your examiner shakes your hand. He says you have one of the cleanest charts he has run all year. Senior Executive Service, Office Director. Your name appears on briefing memos that route to the National Security Council. You sit at the table for collection priority discussions that determine where the agency points its resources for the next 18 months. The buyers know what is in those memos before the National Security Council does. Your buyers are now multinational corporations and quasi-governmental entities. Buyers whose payment structures route through nominee companies in jurisdictions you would not visit on a vacation. The fee structure is no longer per query. The fee structure is a quarterly retainer paid into a holding entity in Liechtenstein, owned through a Cayman Foundation with a Panamanian protector and a Liechtenstein Treuhänder you have never met and will never meet. You are invited to a private dinner in October. 6 people at a table for 6. The location is a private dining room above a restaurant on the East Coast that does not appear on any map of restaurants because the restaurant beneath it is the only public-facing entity. The dinner is hosted by a man you have read about in a Forbes profile, and a Wall Street Journal investigation, and 7 cables that have crossed your desk in the last 2 years. He pours your wine himself. He smiles. He says, "It is a pleasure. Finally, Atlas Northern 7. He says your pseudonym the way someone might say a first name. He has known the pseudonym for at least 4 years. He has known the name behind the pseudonym for at least 2. You smile back. You drink the wine. You go home. You sit at your kitchen table for 3 hours that night without moving. The badge is in the safe. The lanyard is in the drawer. The photograph on the badge is still you. The photograph on the badge is a person who would not have recognized the person at the dinner table. The next morning, you scan every visitor log against every name you have committed to memory across 4 years of operations. You read the building floor plans for the first time in your career, not as the operator who runs them, but as the target who needs to know exit routes. You read the agency's own counterintelligence threat bulletin, the way you would have read a hostile collection feed. None of the names you are looking for appear. That is not
reassuring. That is the design. David Kim retired 4 months ago. His farewell speech said the agency had been the privilege of his life. You attended. You shook his hand. He said you were going to be the next director someday. He meant it. He has no idea. Power gained. Complete operational picture. Every collection priority. Every gap. Every target. Freedom lost. The line between the official identity and the shadow identity. You file your retirement paperwork in early March. 24 years at the agency. Full pension. The retirement ceremony is held in the auditorium on the 3rd floor. The director attends. There is a standing ovation. There is a commendation letter framed in walnut. There is a small ceremonial flag that was flown at Fort Meade on the day of your hire, folded and presented in a triangular wooden case. Your clearance is debriefed at 2:14 p.m. the following Monday. The debrief officer takes your badge across a steel desk and runs the chip reader. The chip is sealed with a blue adhesive strip. The photograph is punched out with a pneumatic die. A small, clean circle removed from the laminate, leaving a hole the size of a quarter where your face used to be. She slides what is left of the badge back across the desk. She says, "It is yours." Most of us keep it. She does not look at you when she says it. You keep it. You put it in your pocket. You walk out under the same swipe gate you walked under for 24 years. The gate beeps. The system logs the exit. You start at Halverson Strategic Advisory the next morning. Halverson Strategic Advisory is a private intelligence consulting firm that retains TS/SCI, cleared personnel through the contractor renewal program. Your clearance remains active under the renewal. The fee structure is now legal. The fee structure is also extraordinary. You make more in your first 6 months at Halverson than you made in the last decade at the agency. The work is the same work. The buyers are the same buyers. The reports are signed under your real name now, on firm letterhead, with no pseudonym, because the work is legal. The badge sits in a drawer in your home office. The drawer also contains the framed commendation letter, 2 NSA challenge coins, the punch-out the size of a quarter that used to be your photograph, and a folded NSA lanyard with a small fade where it had rested against your neck for 19 years. Power gained. Legitimacy. What you do is now what you are paid to do. Freedom lost. The difference between what you are doing and what you did before. The badge stays in the drawer. 3 years pass. You are a senior partner at Halverson. Your billings clear $2 million annually. Your name is on the firm's letterhead. Your daughter is in her 2nd year at Stanford. Your apartment has changed. Your car has changed. Your life has, by every external measure, succeeded. A new analyst at your old division. 26 years old, 6 months out of the SIGINT development course. TS/SCI, cleared 8 weeks ago. Runs a query in XKEYSCORE that she was not authorized to run. She is alone in the SCIF at 11:47 p.m. The badge is clipped to her lanyard. The badge has no scratches yet. The chip is intact. The photograph is still her. The query returns. 1 name, 1 match. She photographs the screen with a personal phone she brought into the SCIF in violation of 3 different security policies. A college acquaintance asked at a bar 3 nights ago. Personal favor. She told herself it was a favor. You will never know about her. The system does not need you to. The buyers do not need you to. Mark Reyes does not need you to. Mark Reyes is 6 years gone, replaced by someone new who replaced Mark the way you have replaced David Kim and the way she will replace you. Somewhere in your home office, a drawer contains a badge with a punched-out photograph and a folded lanyard. Somewhere in a SCIF door beeps. The system has what it needs. It just needs a new you.